one occasion, President Reagan asked me to announce and explain a reasonably important foreign policy decision he'd made. So I wrote this speech out really carefully. And I brought it over to him in one of our private meetings. I said, Mr. President, you asked me to do this. I want to be sure it's the way you want it. Would you mind taking a look at it? So he leafs through, puts it down, says, perfect. There was a dead silence. There's, of course, if I was doing it, I wouldn't do it this way. He laughed. And he picked it up and he flipped it open around him. And he personalized it, I could see. But in one place he wrote story. And I looked at it. And I said, Mr. President, what's the story about? He said, well, this is the most important point on this page. It's not enough to get it into people's heads. You got to get it into their gut. When they get it into their gut, then they really get it. And the way you get it into their gut is to tell them a story that they can understand. So that's the way I go about it. I don't try to just get something into people's heads. You got to get into their gut. That's why I tell so many stories. Ronald Reagan had on his desk, and anyone who came in saw it immediately. It said, more or less, there's no limit to what a man or a woman can accomplish if they don't care who gets the credit. And he lived by that. He had adopted the idea that if we cut out the preferences in the personal income tax system, we could commensurably lower the rates. And that was a massive tax reform idea that had appeal on all sides. He proposed it. It worked its way through the Ways and Means Committee. Got Democrats on board, Republicans on board. It was introduced in the House by Dick Gephardt, who was the Democratic leader. Went to the Senate, considerably better bill in the Senate. Bill Bradley had the laboring arm. And the conference, the Senate bill prevailed. It passed the Senate 97-3. In other words, by the time it got through, it was a nonpartisan piece of legislation. And somebody asked President Reagan if it bothered him that two Democrats introduced his legislation. You know what he said? It passed, didn't it? So, what he was interested in getting it to pass. There's no limit to what a man or a woman can accomplish if they don't care who gets the credit. President Reagan was interested in getting something done, not getting the credit for it.